Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to take a stack of source material and really turn it into essential knowledge for you. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the digital asset platform known as Treasure Fund, which you can find at treasurefund.xyz. Our mission is pretty straightforward. Analyze the platform's marketing claims against what users are actually reporting in third-party reviews. It's all about transparency.
Yeah, before we go any further, I just want to be absolutely clear. This is purely educational commentary. We're analyzing public consumer reports and organizational context. This is not financial or investment advice.
Okay, great. So let's unpack the user experience first. We've been looking at sites like Trustpilot, and there seems to be a very specific pattern emerging with withdrawals.
There is. And what's fascinating is the mechanism behind it. Users consistently report that they can complete small initial withdrawals. No problem. Reviewers often describe this as a kind of confidence phase. It's, designed to build trust before the user commits a more significant amount of capital.
Right, so you get a little bit of money out, you feel confident that the system works, and then...
And then, according to the reports, it's followed by sudden blocks. They just can't access any further payouts.
That initial lure seems like a critical piece of this, and we also saw reports suggesting other platforms, Treasure Fund, Treasure NFT, Nova NFT, might be related.
That's right. And that linkage, it raises concerns about what we could call platform proliferation. It suggests there might be a centralized operation just creating shell entities.
To rebrand quickly if one gets, a bad reputation.
Exactly. It ties directly into those claims that the platform changes its domain and then asks for more deposits to restore access. It feels like a system designed for a very short lifespan.
Okay, so if the domain is shifting, let's talk about operational verification. The registration for the current site is very recent, April 2025. But, lots of new companies have a short domain A's. What makes that a specific point of concern here?
That's a really key distinction. For a regular startup, sure, newness is normal. But for a platform in the digital asset space promising high yields, that lack of an established track record is flagged by reviewers as an elevated risk factor. Transparency relies on having a verifiable history. And what's more, any searches for founders, team members, or even a company registration, they all came up empty.
So we're looking at a platform that's handling assets, but is operating from effectively a digital black box. No visible corporate address, no human contacts. What about their mobile presence? They claim to have apps on the Play Store and App Store.
They do claim that, but verification efforts show that those apps are currently unavailable, or they might just be non-existent. That discrepancy between what's marketed and what's actually operational, it really impacts the platform's transparency score.
And finally, customer support. They advertise a live chat, which on the surface suggests they're available.
It does. But the user experience in the reviews tells a very different story. People report that while the chat feature is visible, it's largely unresponsive.
Especially when they need it most, I'm guessing.
Precisely. For a platform handling financial assets, having the appearance of support that then fails. It implies the whole support mechanism isn't really functional.
So let's synthesize this. We have a pattern of limited initial success, followed by withdrawal blocks. We have a short operational history from April 2025, unverified app claims, and a total lack of transparency about who is running the show.
And when you look at all those factors collectively, the psychological lure, the disposable infrastructure, the organizational invisibility, the analysis from third parties suggests these are operational practices that warrant extreme caution.
Right. And this whole discussion has been focused only on analyzing these reports and platform characteristics just to foster a better understanding of this space.
So as you continue to analyze platforms, here's a final thought for you to consider. In the decentralized world of digital assets, how much visible corporate and technological history should a user expect before they consider a platform to be transparently established and reliable?